Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim Smith. It is so nice to be here to honor all the 2013 SMCC St. Mary's Central Catholic Hall of Fame inductees. It's great to share this day with all of my family here, aunts and uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, sons, and daughters. I'm especially proud to stand up here and present and accept this honor on behalf of my dad, who died in 2003. My dad, James Smith, was born in Norwalk, Ohio, to Charles and Elizabeth Smith. He had three brothers, Dick, Bob, and Carl, and two sisters, Marlene and Jerry. During the World War II conflict, my grandpa enlisted in the Army and was stationed in England. His mother, my grandma, could not afford to support and take care of such a big family on her own. Dad, along with three of his siblings, spent several years in the Good Shepherd Catholic Orphanage in Toledo, Ohio. Around the third year in the orphanage, Dad tested positive for TB. He spent the next year at the hospital in Mount Vernon. When his father returned from the service, Grandma and Grandpa Smith were able to get Dad and the other kids back in the orphanage and move their family back to Sandusky, where Dad started his basketball career at St. Peter's and Paul's Junior High. Dad continued his high school education and athletic career at St. Mary's High School, playing tackle for the football team at St. Mary's, lettering his junior and senior years. The basketball was where Dad excelled. At St. Mary's, he had the opportunity to play under the legendary coach, Lee Zierhoff. The Panthers had a great basketball program and built a winning tradition that Dad was proud to be a part of. He was able, with help, to find an old 1935 Ford so he could get back and forth to Sandusky to play basketball and go to school at St. Mary's. He played 2 years on the reserve team, dressing for the varsity his sophomore year, which got him ready for 2 years of playing varsity basketball. Dad was a junior on the St. Mary's first undefeated regular season basketball team in 1949 and 1950. That year, the Panthers went 17-0 with 2 overtime victories. Dad was voted honorable mention All-Ohio Class B his junior year. The 1950-51 Panther team was 15-1 for the regular season. The 7 seniors on the team were Bill Kelch, Tom Swint, Bob Kreidler, Paul Keller, Louis Grothwald, Paul Rootsox, and my dad. The only blemish on the regular season record was a 2-point loss to Fremont St. Joe's, 52-50. After that Saturday night loss, Panthers bounced back with a 86-60 win against Foster St. Wendland. The St. Wendland game set 2 new St. Mary's scoring records, a team high of 86 points in a game, which was quite a feat for any team back then. And the individual scoring record was also set by my dad with 37 points in the game. 5 games later, the basketball squad gave Coach Zierhoff his 300th win against Elmore. Dad's team was also the last team to play in the old gym in 1951. The Panther faithful used to regularly pack the gym in those days. I think my dad's brother, my Uncle Dick, was one of their biggest fans. Going into the tournament season, St. Mary's was ranked in the state for the Class B. They ranked 6th. They would face Huron in the district quarterfinals in tournament play. Huron was ready for a rematch. They had lost to St. Mary's 52-50 just a couple of weeks earlier. Dad scored 30 points in the tournament game before fouling out with 4:50 to go. Without submitting the game, Huron edged ahead of St. Mary's, and the game went back and forth until the Tigers scored the winning basket with 45 seconds left to go. The Tigers held on and handed the Panthers the second loss of the season, knocking them out of the tournament in front of a near-record crowd of 1,900 in the Fremont Ross Gym. The tournament game was the last game of the 1950-51 season. The seniors ended the season with an impressive 2-year record of 38-3. For his senior season, Dad had earned first-team all-district honors and was the leading scorer in the Sandusky Bay Conference and the protest tournament, gaining first-team honors for both. That year, he was also voted First and 10 Magazine's second-team All-Ohio Class B roster. The United Press and Associated Press listed them both as honorable mention All-Ohio. Dad was a 1951 graduate of St. Mary's High School. After high school, he attended John Carroll University in Cleveland for 1 year. He left college to come home to help with his family. Dad had worked several places when he came home, including Levy Pottery in Milan, the paper mill in Avery, and the Goodyear appliance store in Sandusky. While he was working at the Goodyear store, he met and married the love of his life, Elizabeth Hahn, my mom, who was sitting right down there. They married on August 29, 1953, and were married for 49 years. With her by his side, he created a family any man would be proud to have. Together, they had 8 children, 6 daughters, Sherry Perdue and her husband Larry, who is now deceased, Cindy Cameron and her husband Kevin, Jackie Taylor and her husband Russ, who all live in the Cincinnati area, Becky Smith and her husband Jeff, who live in New London, North Carolina, Lori Kathman and her husband Mark, who live in Florence, Kentucky, and Stephanie Mapis and her husband Jim, who still live in Sandusky. And 2 sons, my brother Dave and his wife Peggy, who live in Camden, New York, and my wife Donna, and I live in Mansfield, Ohio. There are 24 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren and counting. After the Goodyear store closed, Dad went to work for District Petroleum. Following that, for the next 12 years, Dad owned and operated the Country Squire Shell Station and Carryout, which was between the Model T Drive-In and the Perkins Paint House on Route 250. That was from 1966 to 1978. Mom kept the books, and the rest of our family all worked at the gas station to carry out, pumping gas and selling groceries. All of his kids had great memories about the time they got to spend at the Country Squire Shell Station with Dad. We all learned the importance of having a good work ethic, how to deal with people, and about life. Having the opportunity to work side by side with my dad while I was growing up was a great experience, and he became one of my best friends. Dad was a maintenance man at heart and a jack of all trades. He could repair anything, and I learned a lot from him. He retired in 1997 from Delphi Chassis, the old New Departure Hyatt, where he had worked for more than 18 years. Dad was a member of St. Mary's Catholic Church, the UAW Local 913, and the Retiree Association. He loved to go fishing, planting the garden, maintaining and swimming in the backyard pool, going on our annual Smith family camping trips, and playing the organ. And he was an avid Cleveland Browns sports fan. He also found a lot of enjoyment watching his children and grandchildren participate in all their sports, music, and scholastic activities. Dad was a man with tremendous integrity and strong character. He was a hard worker and a loving husband. Dad lived the Catholic faith and was a great family man and father. His time at St. Mary's played a big part in shaping the person he became. Those values and morals were all passed down to his 8 children and in turn his grandchildren. He was not known to boast, and a lot of what I know about his basketball career I learned after his death. I would like to congratulate all the class of 2013 Sandusky St. Mary's Central Catholic Hall of Fame inductees and their families. No one earns awards like this without the help and support of others. I am sure if he were here today, Dad would like to thank all of his coaches, teammates, friends, family, and especially my mom, Betty Smith. On behalf of my dad and our family, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this recognition. This was a very special day that we will always remember. Although Dad wasn't the type to brag about his accomplishments, he was always proud to be a graduate of St. Mary's High School. And it is a great honor to accept this award from my dad, Jim Smith.